Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel, Live Snapshot. Evelyn and Greg welcome you, and Muttley. We're going for a walk through the bush. Local area here, we always go through pretty much the same tracks. So we're just going to go check the bush out. There's been a couple of weeks of wind and stuff. See what's new. Anyway, thanks for everybody for subscribing. Really appreciate your support. It's been wonderful for you to come along our little journey in life. And if you're here for the first time, please hit that like button, subscribe, and notification too. We're trying our best to do 1 or 2 videos a week. We're going to step that up when we get a little bit more entertainment, I suppose. Entertaining. What do you think, baby? Yeah. So this year we've decided that we're going to stay through summer because it's getting close to bushfire season. It's pretty much bushfire season, and as you can see, you see these trees here. That's the 2020 fire. That's 2020. This whole place was destroyed, and we've got a little shrine here. Muttley, get out of it. Could be for some reason. Leave it alone. So that tree fell there, yeah. And yeah, this whole place was completely wiped out. So it's been 4 years, and the bush, like the Australian bush is, it's very resilient and has bounced back better than ever. So a lot of people are scared to come to Australia because they think the wildlife is going to bite you and poisonous this and all that sort of stuff. Well, yeah, of course, it's obvious we have that, but if you do a few things and pay attention walking through the bush, I'll give you a couple of tips, because it is wonderful to walk through here, but you also got to be a little bit careful about how you do things. So first of all, my advice is, if you do going to come to Australia and go for bushwalking, maybe grab a local. That's very helpful. Okay, person who knows where they're going, what they're doing, and yeah, that's a big plus. So don't just do it by yourself and just think you know what you're doing. Grab a local. Plenty of people around here. We're Australian. We love to help. We love to give advice and show people our backyards. Come on, Mutt. Come on. Come on. Come here. Muttley, slow down. So yeah, the next thing is make sure you got the proper clothing. Okay, even if it's warm, good hiking boots. Okay, that's a really good thing. Make sure you got plenty of water, all that sort of stuff. A couple of energy bars, things like that will make the whole experience even more enjoyable. So good hiking boots, proper clothing, nice high top hiking boots, and come on, he's slacking off a bit. There's another one. Yeah, that one burnt out. But this whole lot was gone. This is all new vegetation through here. So, but yeah, so grab a local. Make sure you've got good hiking, strong boots, even steel caps, and proper clothing, water, and if you don't know, like I said, the area, you're new to it. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, but especially Australian bush. Yeah, make sure someone's with you that knows what's going on. It could be a big factor between you getting a little bit lost or a lot lost, and you don't know what to do. So sometimes cell phone coverage doesn't work, depending on where you are. So that's another big factor. So don't depend on your cell phone. So anyway, so yeah, there's a couple of things you got to look out. Our snakes, of course, they're deadly, they're poisonous. Further you go up towards the top end of Australia. Hey, stop! This is what. I said get out of it! Now you get back here right now. Get back here right now! Sorry. Come on. We've been teaching him not to chase anything. He usually does his old pointer trick, but he's a little bit hypo today. Anyway, so there's some more advice. Don't take a dog with you. Where was I? Oh God, I've forgotten where I was. I was talking about... I've done all that. Yeah, sorry, yeah, that's where I got to. As you go further up the coast, heading towards Queensland, the top end of Australia, snakes are more... Your chances of coming across a snake, and a deadly one, go up. So the warmer the weather, the more they're out and about. We've got a couple of really deadly ones. It's the eastern brown snake. The locals have got a saying: if you see an eastern brown, you're pretty much dead, because that guy's seen you. And unlike most snakes, the eastern brown will not back down. He will chase you. He will defend himself extremely aggressively. So he's not like normal snakes. They can hear you coming and they just leave. The eastern brown is one pissed off snake, and that's the saying: if you see an eastern brown, you're pretty much dead. So please be wary. Now, of course, there's all the stories about the spiders. There's got the Sydney funnel web. Okay, it's the Sydney funnel web for a reason. It's very, very populated in the Sydney area. And as you go out further out to Sydney, you probably see less and less of them. But we're about 250 kilometres away from Sydney, south, and we are pretty much in a funnel web area. They're everywhere. Don't poke them. If you come across some holes in the ground, do not go near them. Leave them be. 9 times out of 10, they will leave you alone. Okay. Get some quick knowledge on what they look like. A funnel web is very distinctive. Big, fat, ugly looking thing. Big fangs. Once you see a funnel web for the first time, you'll never forget it. But don't let that discourage you. For the best part of it, you'll be okay. You'll be fine. We find funnel webs in our garden. We find funnel webs everywhere. They can even end up in your pool. They do live underwater. They get this air bubble around them, and they've been found in pools. So be extra careful. If you've got kids and stuff, mate, you need to be very vigilant. I would advise not to walk through the bush if you've got children. That's just a silly thing to do. So we're out here. Where are we now? We're lakeside. So we're over there. We're over there, and here comes the army with the helicopter drills. Anyway, this is a kind of educational video. I hope it gives some good education for some people about the wildlife here. We also got what is known as the paralysis tick. We got a brown tick. Okay, those things will attach themselves to anything. Be very, very careful. So if you're out and about and you're walking through the bush and you've brushed up against a lot of stuff in the bush, make sure that when you get home, you check your armpits, check your hair, and make sure, because those little ticks, they're tiny, and you don't feel them until they start burrowing in. Now you do have a right and a wrong way to get a tick out. You might think you've taken the body out, but sometimes you get the body out and the little sucker is still going, and that gets into your bloodstream. That's why they're called a paralysis tick. Paralyze you, I know, but what you do is they bury themselves, I think it's clockwise. So when you try to get one out, you do anti-clockwise to burrow it back out. Now, don't quote me on that. It's either one or the other. So just check it. I'm pretty sure burrow in clockwise, burrow out anti-clockwise. But also, there's a couple of, if you want to spend a couple of dollars and you're serious about bushwalking in Australia, there's a little tick tool you can get. It's a little piece of plastic, cost a couple of bucks. Be the difference between you getting really sick. So someone's done a nice makeshift thing here because it floods, which was really nice of them. There's a lot of work involved in this, but yeah. So the tick, funnel-web spider, the snakes, you'll probably find that in your house, if you stay in somebody's house, you'll probably come across the old huntsman spider. That one's got a bad reputation, but it really doesn't deserve it. And it's a big, ugly looking spider, but they're very good to have around. Now they do bite, but it's a very, very tiny amount of poison. You might get some sort of reaction, but come here, Muttley, come on, we're going this way. You might, yep, you might get some sort of reaction, but they're pretty much harmless. But they're good to have around because they kill all the cockroaches and bugs and stuff like that. So they look very big and ugly and but please try and take care of them. They're very useful to have around. I know everyone just wants to squish them and kill them, but if you can just capture them and let them outside, they won't bother you and they will be quite helpful. There goes the army, I think it is. Helicopter. They do drills sometimes over our house. Well, they've been doing them for the last couple of weeks. Mung mung. So yeah, when we get back, we don't care many times we go into the bush and how many times we get away without getting a tick on us or anything. We check each other, and we especially check the dog. Now he's completely covered with tick protection. Come here. But that doesn't mean anything. Just because you've given him tablets, come on, Muttley, just because you've given him protection, you still got to check. Some of those things are little nasty little buggers and they will latch onto you. How many we had? 3 on him, but because he had the tick protection, they didn't burrow. They're a little bit, I suppose it's like when they go to burrow, they taste the tick protection and it's like poison to them. But it was still on him, and one of them actually had bitten him on the head. It drew blood, so it was attempting to get into him. So, mate, I'd be devastated if I just didn't do the right thing by my puppy, and lapse of concentration and something happened. I'd be devastated. So we're here with the new X4, baby. What do you think? Look at this guy. The X4, we're still trying it out. I've got the DJI mic 2, DJI 2 mic, whatever, mic 2. So we're trying it all out, see how we go. It's got us a lovely day. It's probably about, what, baby, 23 degrees. October 1st. So the second month of spring here. Our first summer month is December. Come on, Muttley, you're dragging out there. We're lucky, we're blessed here because we've pretty much got this place to ourselves most of the year. And usually if we come across somebody, it's just another local, so they know who we are. But come December, January, and right up to Easter even, all the city people come down and you know, they get on the drink and yeah, and party hardy. So yeah, so we'd like to stay through the severe bushfire months, because pretty much last time in 2020 they evacuated pretty much everybody. Well, they tried to. It came so quickly and so fast, not many people could evacuate, and the police can only do so much. they can only come flying in with their sirens and say, get the hell out on the loudspeaker. But, you know, then they got to save themselves, and that's fair enough, and credit to them, they tried their best. But a lot of people stayed back, and I stayed, and I know it's against what all the safety protocols would be, but I'm glad I stayed, because we pretty much saved the house. It was coming straight at us at all directions. I had the sprinklers set up, and yeah, we just put out the spot fires as it went, and the house was completely covered in embers. Can you imagine? It was a really windy day. Hello, baby. It was a really windy day, and the embers were everywhere, but because I had the sprinklers set up on the roof, that pretty much put all the embers out that landed in the gutters, and that's what burns your house down. They get in the gutters, light your eaves on fire, and then you're done. So, and then not long after the severe part of the front of the fire went through, the water cut off. So we had all prepared. A friend of mine had a huge water tank hooked up with a generator. I had a generator once the power went out, so we had generators going, and then we filled all the garbage bins with water. I filled my old tinny boat with water, so we had plenty of water to even bucket on the spot fires, because they were everywhere, and the little embers, some of them last for days, if not weeks, after the fire. And so people know, the fire just doesn't come through and then that's the end of it. You are talking months sometimes. You can go through the bush and find large stumps with little fires just smothering underneath the ground. So you can go literally months, and yeah, there's not much left to burn, but there's still parts of the fire that's still very active. So you need to be wary weeks, if not months after, especially if you live in an area like ours, rural area like this. Yeah, okay. Can we just see if it's still working? Yep. I can't see that it's on. Anyway, I'm just putting this mic back on, just sorting my mic out. So yeah. So I hope this is interesting and entertaining for everybody watching. We love to here he comes. We love to show everybody the life we live here in Australia. And good old Muttley, we're very proud of him. Some days he's good, some days he's bad. And here he comes. I think the weather affects him too, babe. Yeah, he's getting warmer, and he's getting older. He's almost 5. He doesn't have that puppy strength in him anymore. So just be careful here, babe. It's a little bit sloppy. So where we are now actually is Aboriginal land. Okay, for people who don't know, look, the story is that the Aboriginals are here. They're the nation's first people, 100%. But a lot of the land is now Commonwealth land. Okay, it's owned by the government, and I hate that too. Don't get me wrong here. I think it's silly. They do not look after it. But this is traditional nation first land. It is not Commonwealth land. It's their land officially. So we're allowed to walk this dog here. That's no problem. This is not national park. There is national parks surrounding us, but this part here is not. It's Aboriginal land, and I know that because a friend of mine's a firefighter in the area, and there's strict conditions on what they can do with this, even when there is a fire. because it has to go through the Aboriginal spokesperson of this area, Aboriginal elder, Aboriginal head of tribe, I suppose. So yeah, there's a couple of carvings. I forgotten the way to get there, but I'll try and find them again one day and show you. They're probably, you know, 50,000 years old. I think they've been recorded as, of carvings in the area. Oh yeah, you'll love that. It's like coffee. He loves that stuff. So if we go right up, it's going to be difficult. Do you want to cut through?
Yeah.
We'll cut through. Anyway, thanks again, guys, for supporting us, the subscribers. We can't do it without you, and it makes it worthwhile, so we really appreciate it. Please jump on the comments and have a chat. You want to go? I really don't want you to go first, but I think you'll be right. I don't want you to. Come on, Muttley. That's just nothing. Come on. So just keep your eyes out, babe, and your ears peeled. So we're now getting into the real nitty-gritty of the tracks. Like I said, most snakes will just leave you alone. There's not many eastern browns around here. Come on. Yeah, we get the dog, and he usually alerts us to anything. Come on, Muttley. Come on. And yeah, but just like I said, wear the proper clothing. Make sure you're with a local. Even a little first aid kit, plenty of water and stuff like that. The beautiful thing is we've had anti-venom for all the spiders and the serious ones, the little funnel webs and stuff, since 1985. And I don't think there's been a death since then. Don't quote me. But, you know, since like 1930 or something, I think there's only been about, I can't remember, it's not many, 15 deaths. And most of them were before 1985 because there was no anti-venom. If you do get bit, don't panic. Keep calm. And call 000. It's not like America here, 911. It's 000. You call them, and the paramedics have anti-venom. If you do get bitten by something, try and look. If it's a spider, try and catch it. Of course, if it's too dangerous enough to catch it, let it go. But try and get a visual on it, so you know what it is. Okay. Funnel web, just catch it. You don't have to. Even if you kill it, and then they know exactly that you've been bitten by a funnel web. It helps immensely. So I do not advise you to try and chase after a snake or catch a snake if you are been bitten, but just try and visualize, remember what it was, what color it was. We've got red belly blacks here, we've got browns, we've got blacks. This area here, you're not going to see any taipans or anything like that, but they do exist here, one of the most deadly snakes in the world. You need to just pay attention. Look at this tree, babe. That's coming down too. That's snapped, I think. Let's keep walking. That one's a bit dangerous. So the other thing is you got to keep an eye out. We're a bushfire prone area. Very severe bushfires here, all over Australia. So if you're ever walking through the bush, chances are it's only been a couple of years prior, if not a year ago. They've had a bushfire through. You'll be able to tell pretty much when you look around all these black trees. You know, you've got to be careful. Some of these trees are weak. They've been burnt, hollowed out by the fire. Whoops. And yeah, so keep an eye out, look up. We're going to show you a couple examples of some trees leaning over up here. Like this tree here, babe, I think that's new. No, straight ahead, look at the one on the ground. It's only a small tree, but look at that. That's new, I think. This one here. Yeah, that's new. That's a new one, mate. That's fallen. So yeah, that's not your biggest tree, but mate, if that falls, it'll hurt you. Come on, Muttley. You're our defence. So it starts getting better up here anyway. Starts opening up a bit. So just remember that, just because you're not even in the bush doesn't mean much. Our funnel web spiders, they like the pool, they like to go indoors. Another thing is if you do visit rural areas, get into the habits of looking in your shoes. Okay, don't leave them outside. So you take your shoes off, put them inside. Now, don't stick your hand in to check in your shoes. Whack them together. Smack them together and look. Do not stick your hand in. Funnel webs like little dark, warm places. Shoes are perfect, so don't leave your shoes outside. Your socks, stuff like that. Put them inside, and even though they're inside, check them. Don't drop your clothes on the ground. If you do, pick them up and shake them. Trust me, those little buggers will get anywhere. But for the most part, just keep your eyes out, keep your ears open, and you'll be fine. When in doubt, don't do it. So we're just going to walk up here. We're going to walk through this bit. So this is one of the trees that fell. It's been there for a couple of years now. Fell in the fires, and it's pushing this one. Let's push that one over, baby. So that one's getting weak too. That one's pushed over. So that I'll give that a 12 months and it's gone. Muttley, get out of there. You're right underneath it, you silly dog. Come on, boy. So now we're going to just shoot up here. The kids like to play around in here. Gives them something to do, I suppose. Come on, Mutt. He's having a good time now. He's chilling out. So the landowners, the Aboriginals, have put these little cubbies. We're not sure what they're for. I don't think they're for possums. We're not sure what they're for. About 2 months ago, babe, wasn't it? 2 months ago, we came through here and they were putting them up there. There's a couple here and there. Maybe it's some sort of experiment to see what happens when they put these things up. There's one there. There goes another helicopter drill. So we don't get any aeroplanes flying over here. If we do, they're private aeroplanes. There's a couple of huge properties further up the lake that one of the guys is a retired doctor, so he's obviously doing all right for himself, and he's got a little seaplane, which is very cool. Now and then we see him take off and land. So it's a beautiful area. Like I said, we're very blessed. Come on, mate, here he comes. We're very blessed to live here. It's very quiet. There's no crime. There's no hassle. Only for like I said, a couple of months of the year we get a lot of people coming down. So you know, you get a little bit of some people, you know, playing up a bit, but nothing usually major. So this tree here, it's split. Look at that, that's split. The fire got in underneath it, and it's just hanging there. It's hanging there, and this tree ain't gonna hold it up much longer. It's just tied up there, the branches, but that's gonna come down, I'd say, in the next 12 months, easy. call them widow makers, and there's a reason for that. Those limbs there right up the top, they will come down with no warning. So even without wind, they just break off. So the old widowmaker gum trees. We don't have any koalas around here. If we do, I think it's just too cold a climate, as we're south of Sydney and we're about halfway, a little bit less, towards the Victorian border. So at winter it gets pretty cold here. So mainly koalas are up north, and there's a couple of laws when it comes to koalas. If you do see them in the wild, depending on what state you're in, you're not allowed to touch them. Okay, it's severe penalties, severe fines, so be wary of that. I think only Queensland, don't quote me, but only Queensland you're allowed to touch them, and I think even then that's under supervision of someone who's qualified. Yes, they're cute and cuddly, they also can be very vicious, especially around mating season. I know they look like beautiful cuddly teddy bears, but they're not. They can be quite aggressive, and yeah, you see one, just admire it from a distance. So there's a lot to learn. Like I said, if you've got somebody that you're just turning up to Australia, you really need to speak to someone. If you're coming into a rural area like here, you see someone on the street, just talk to them. Say to them you're thinking about going for a bushwalk. They'll give you some quick advice where and where not is a good place to do that. But if you can, ask them to show you. Us Aussies are very helpful, we're very approachable, and we love our country, so we're happy to help someone who's visiting. Anyway, I think that's about it. We're about to hit the road. I think we'll call that a video. Again, guys, thanks for your support. Please comment down below what you think, and hit that like button, because it really helps our channel to grow, and we really appreciate everyone who's subscribed so far. We'll try and get better than this. All the best, everybody. Take care. Bye bye. Stop recording.